Hello, I'm Annette McCoy and welcome to The Difference TV. Today I have the pleasure of being with Jacqui Lees, and Jacqui is passionate about relationships and improving them.
Yes, I am.
Well,
Pleased to meet you.
Thank you, Jacqui. Now, please tell me, what brought you to being passionate about relationships?
I think as I'd always been doing my psychic work, I realised when a friend of mine had a lot of problems and was diagnosed with cancer, and spending a lot of time with her and her mother, that they had a great relationship. And I said to her one day, I wish I had a great relationship with my mother the way you do with yours, especially now with what you're going through. And she said, well, why don't you? And I said, well, it just hasn't been there. And she said, well, what would it be like? And so I challenged myself to call my mother up in Scotland and had a chat with her. And it was different. Somehow it was different.
Somehow it was different, from the past?
Yeah, I said sorry, which would have been a big somehow different. I said, I'm sorry for the way I've been, and I realised that I've always thought you dominating, controlling me and telling me what to do, and it's not the case at all.
That's a very brave step.
Yeah, it is. Especially when you knew my mother. But no, she just, again, the filter, you have in your ear of, you hear someone say something and you think automatically they're telling me what to do.
Right. So, you gained from being able to take that step with your mother?
Yes, I did, because I saw that a lot of times in my work doing readings. Now and then I do a reading, for example, with a young girl who came to see me the other week. Her mother rang her phone and her mother said, where are you? And she said, I'm with Tony, and she looked disgruntled. I said, what did your mum say? She said, oh, she's upset because I said I was with Tony. I said, well, why? She said, oh, she doesn't like me with Tony. I said, well, why would you tell your mother you were Tony and upset her? Do you love your mother? And I heard the same thing coming out in my own mind that I had experienced. And she said, yes, of course I do. But, she's annoying. She controls me all the time. And I said, well, what would it be like to have a great relationship with your mother? And she said, well, I can't imagine what that would be like. I said, well, try it. Try it and come back next week and have a chat and tell me how you got on.
You're making this sound extremely simple. I'm sure that there are people who are having problems with their relationships. So, how do we start to mend the bridges?
I think we can start by, just as I said with what happened with me, thinking about what would I really like my mother to have a relationship with me? How would it be if it was great? And have that kind of measurable result in your mind before you start of what that would be like. And then try to create that. And I find that people, once they've done that and created the space that they can have the person have a relationship with them, then they are a lot better.
Right. Now, you work with people, you delight in working with people. Mm-hmm. What are you helping them to learn?
Learn about themselves, learn that they have abilities they do possess. I can see, perhaps I have an ability to do that, I know, but I can see that they can achieve a lot, and they don't see that because they're perhaps stuck in the past with opinions. Our opinions dominate us more than anything else. So they're stuck in the past and they can't realise what their future potential is.
So, what can we as humanity do to improve relationships?
I think to improve on relationships is to be tuned in more to people you work with, you live with, your family, and that sense of community has gone a lot of the time, and we need to create that more so that the more balanced state of mind we have. And what I realised with this, with people not being in a balanced state of mind, was because they were stuck in the past and they had anger or upset around them. And I think that the less of that as a community as a whole, the more harmony and balance there'll be.
Right. So, anger, we need to let go of that. So what can we bring in to help our relationships?
We can bring in cultivation of new beginnings and something that is challenging in your community or with people that you care about, and just try to generate something that's positive rather than negative.
I like the idea of bringing in the positive. Now, you're coming from a loving space.
Hope so. That's what I try and create.
So, to create the wonderful community that we are endeavouring to create, what would your message be?
I think my message would be to try to just be the best you can be. Aspire to something that makes you feel like you make a difference to people's lives. When we're doing that, and what inspires you to get up in the morning is that you're doing something to make a difference. Yeah. And that's what ultimately motivates everyone in life, I think, is that they feel they're doing something to contribute towards making a difference to people's lives.
Thank you so much, Jacqui. You're certainly making a difference.
Thank you.
Live your difference. www.thedifference.tv